Another real estate brokerage has gone down the remote brokerage model. Now, usually when this happens, the brokerage makes the announcement that they have decided to partner up with Real, with eXp Realty, with LPT, or another virtual-based brokerage. Now, this is a little bit different because the brokerage in question is actually not doing any of that. They have chosen to close at least one of their office locations for now in order to accommodate the mobile or the cloud-based brokerage or the cloud-based model that they're offering their agents that are asking for it. So let's explore what this means for this brokerage. The group plans to close an office as the group is actually the brokerage name. So I know it sounds a little bit weird. The group plans to close an office as realtors work remotely. So this comes to us courtesy of bizwest.com. And this is Colorado. Fort Collins is about an hour away from Denver, if I'm not mistaken. And what makes this Fort Collins, in what might be the shape of things to come, the group, so again, the brokerage, real estate will close one of its offices because several of its sales professionals prefer to work remotely. The group has launched a mobile broker model. It's interesting that they call it a mobile broker model instead of like cloud-based brokerage, online brokerage, things of that nature, accommodating the 29 sales professionals who chose to work remotely. So this is a fraction of their overall agent count. So the brokerage is actually much larger than this. As a result, it needs less space, so it will close its 40-year-old office. So this space is, for one, it's a little bit on the larger side. Also, it has a presence here. So what's interesting here is that many of the agents that, as you may or may not know, I'm actually with the virtual based brokerage. So a lot of the agents that I speak to, especially the newer ones, are looking for a physical space, or they feel that they need a physical space. And so it's interesting to see that a brokerage that has been so established and has everything going for them already when it comes to physical space, they're choosing to willingly give up their office space in order to accommodate the virtual brokerage model, or at least accommodate this for these 29 professionals. Which, here's the thing, you can't really do this partially. Whenever you're saying that you're accommodating the 29 professionals, it doesn't mean that only those 29 are going to be the ones that are participating from the virtual model, because the same way that you're going to have to provide training for these 29 or provide access to either group meetings, any resources that you're providing, the same way that you're going to provide these resources to the 29 professionals, you're going to really open it up to all the other agents. So this is essentially going to accelerate the other closures of their offices. At least that's my guess in this particular case, because again, the thing here is you're not just making the support, the training, the resources, any services that you provide available to these 29 professionals, you're giving it access to the rest of the other professionals as well, the other agents as well. I think what's probably happening here is maybe they're not being charged the desk fees. Maybe that's something that is no longer in the invoice for these agents, and that's where this is coming from more than anything. But as far as what's to come, I believe that this office they have multiple offices. I think they have like 4 or so. I don't believe that that's going to be the only one that's affected. So let's go down to the bottom, because this just kind of goes into the history of how that office came to be. The group always wants to be a leader and get in front of the inevitable. The trend towards sales associates being more mobile and working remotely has caused us to realize that we don't need many bricks and sticks. That's interesting. Many bricks and sticks. I like that. The Timnath office was built with modern, more reliable realtor in mind, more mobile realtor in mind, and will be a model the group uses as it expands Kindle. So I'm going to assume that this is going to be more like a hot desk type of environment, like a WeWork type of environment where you're coming in and collaborating and then just bouncing. No one's really going to have the traditional brick and mortar or the traditional office available to them. So thought this was interesting to share with you, because I do think that this is going to happen more and more and more. Why? Well, when you have higher interest rates, there's less transactions. When you have less transactions, that means you have less real estate agents that can actually stay in business. Because remember, we actually did an article on this, a video on this maybe a week ago or 2 weeks ago, that in 2023, 50% of the agents did 1 or no transactions in the entire year. So 50% of the agents in the entire year did 1 or 0 transactions. That was crazy, right? So when you have locations like this or brokerages like these that have a bigger overhead, well, you're not going to be increasing your revenue, so you need to divest yourself of some of the expenses. You need to get rid of some of those expenses, and a brick and mortar is a huge expense. It's especially if you don't own it, you're paying a lease on that. Like if you own it, you have some benefits of depreciation, you have some additional benefits that you're paying utilities, yes, you're paying property taxes, but you don't have a note, especially now when you're looking at notes being higher in interest rates for you as actually taking a loan on that as well. So you have a lot of expenses that don't really get that aren't getting any lower, so you have to find a way to save money. So again, I do expect this to happen a lot more, given that a lot of brokers don't own their broker office or their actual brick and mortar, so they're paying a higher interest rate as well. And again, the revenue is not necessarily growing for a lot of brokers right now, so they have to find a way to save some money. But I'm curious, let me know, are you somebody that really enjoys, needs, and has to have a physical office, or are you someone that is comfortable working down the remote model? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you tomorrow.